let's hit this shit. Hit it. Okay, everyone. PSA. Yeah, welcome back. PSA. This is. I imagine there's going to be a decent amount of people that are excited to see this video because PSA very much has kind of a cult following thing going, and good on them. You know, American company, so good for them. We will jump all into it. Our quick plug so that we can try to not go bankrupt producing free content for you guys would be, one, the 1911 Syndicate is a real estate company behind the scenes. I know you get tired of hearing it, and yet it keeps us in business when you either hit us up or relay your friends and family to us. Chris is in Arizona, I'm in Utah. We got a lot of cool people that can help you out all over the place. Patreon definitely supports the channel now that it is demonetized, always a party. So that definitely helps us out. We do some exclusive content. Largely, it's just a way to say, hey, thanks for making the content. Beyond that, all the important stuff's down in the video description, and we will get into the freaking PSA video. It's the PSA AK-104. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory on this. Because I think it's important, and there's some things that I'm going to concede I'm not going to be your subject matter expert on. Okay, here's where we're going to start. The gun did not come from PSA. I bought the AK from Lead and Steel. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Yep. Shout out to Ahmad. Thank you for getting us the gun. Appreciate that. And so here's the deal. I have about 400 rounds on the gun. And that normally, I don't usually say round counts because usually I don't even track it. We just kind of shoot to a point where I'm like, okay, I feel comfortable with my opinion on it. But I feel the round count on this is important because there are going to be things that we need to address, right? So Grantham had a video that came out on the PSA AK-103, which is a different model than this. And it was a pretty unfavorable video. Now, I'm not disputing anything that he said. Essentially, where he got to the, you know, kind of the point that he got to was he had a lot of internal parts wear that was happening at a kind of accelerated rate, right? And so it was, I would say, a non-positive review in the sense that, okay, well, you got a lot of parts wear that's showing up. And so I kind of came into this with a little bit of that stigma, but then doing some homework, there's another channel that I highly recommend, especially if you like AK stuff, that you check out called AK Operators Union. Blanking out on the dude's name, but he is, I'm telling you, if you watch that, but he's, I think, don't kill me, sir, Russian or some sort of Eastern Bloc fella, okay, right? If you're not, apologies, but right, but if you watch his channel and you don't want to go hang out and have beers with this guy, something's wrong with you. Oh, really? Oh, he's the most, just absolutely fantastic to listen to. Absolutely, the guy's just a treat from whatever country he's from. Absolutely love listening to the guy talk. He's fantastic. So he basically goes about his review process with the PSA 103, and he comes to the point of he checks all the parts wear, and that's something we're going to do on this, more on that to come. But and his gun was good to go. His gun ran great. It had no real parts wear that was out of the norm. So I'm like, cool, you got two big hitters, Grantham and then AK Operators Union, and they had different experiences. Point being to that, there seems to be one big question that it comes down to, which is QC. It comes down to quality control and how are these things actually holding up over the course of rounds. So I'm telling you that I've got about 400 rounds through the gun because frankly, I'm not willing to throw 1,000 or 2,000 rounds through that to really come to the main, to get to the place that you guys would love to get to from a data perspective. I'm not willing to do that because I'm paying for the ammo, and ammo is expensive right now on top of the whole Russian ammo ban thing that hit. So it's like AK ammo is expensive right now. And just look, candidly, I'm not willing to spend $700 on ammo to do a PSA review. It's just not going to happen. So take that for what it is. We're going to go through the gun, and then at the end of this, what we're going to do is I'm going to go break down the gun and just kind of real time wipe everything down as best I can out here in the middle of the desert and just show you guys any parts wear that's showing up. And we'll just kind of, you know, come to a conclusion together. So let's talk a little bit about PSA. Okay, cool. Let's get into a little background on PSA. Okay. Cool. Rock and roll. Do you want to hold it? Not really, because I got... Man, I'm tired of holding it. I need an easel, like a podium. I need a podium. Well, that would be dope. Have a podium out here. Okay, everyone, let's talk a little bit about PSA. And we're trying to do this, by the way, to not only talk about guns with you guys, but a little bit about the companies and kind of the backgrounds of them. Just because, I don't know, we're trying to just kind of do our own spin on things, and it's kind of fun to give you a little bit of kind of historical insight on some of the companies. Yeah. So PSA, very cult-like following. It is kind of their whole thing is like guns for the common man, right?
Yeah, it's just as good crowd.
Yeah, in some cases they could be correct. I mean, there could be some stuff that they make that's like, I mean, you kind of know, like I like kind of high-end shit. So, you know, who am I kidding?
People are going to get mad regardless of how we go about this. But for the most part, in my experience, working in gun stores as I have, it's kind of the just as good crowd. A lot of, do I say the F word? Fuds.
Well, you did.
A lot
of you
fuds.
Did. Yeah. Cult-like following. And,
we all know there's a lot of idiots in cults. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. What you can keep going on about cults if you want, or we can proceed with the gun review. Really, it's up to you at this point. They're basically trying to make good guns at a fairly inexpensive price. So the tag on the 104 here, I think, is between $1,100 and $1,200, right? Which is a pretty entry price, especially for an American-made gun. And hey, to everyone that, gets all bent out of shape on foreign products and stuff, hey, you do have an American-made product here, right? So it's like, there you go. If like you're like we in the China boat and you just refuse to have anything from China, which guarantee you have stuff from China, hey, look, there you go. There's an American-made AK. Couple little things. With the difficulty of importing AKs and just everything associated with that, there is this always, void in the AK market of like a good gun at an inexpensive price point, right? Because we can only import parts, kits, yada, 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 yada. So all the major components are actually made in-house by PSA. So this is a case where, hey, cool. They do make a lot of this stuff. There's gonna be obvious things. I mean, you start looking at pistol braces and things, you're like, they don't make that.
Springs or detents or,
Sorry, jet, everyone. I thought it was nuke that just went off. You want me to cut? Let's just cut. At this point, I fucked it up. So with the difficulty and really inability to import AKs, there's always a demand for a fairly inexpensive gun that is a decent or hopefully good AK. And that's really kind of the space that PSA is trying to fill there. They make pretty much all their major components in-house. There's clear things on this that they don't make. But as a general rule of thumb, a lot of this they are actually making themselves. They do have different generations. So if you're ever on the PSA site and you see like GF3, GF4, GF5 related to the AKs, these are the different generations. Okay. And just to give you a little bit of clarity on that, first of all, the earlier generations were not known to be the best. Parts were like, not necessarily holding up super well, but GF3, which is Gen 3s and on, have forged components, trunnions, bolt carrier groups, things like that. So they did step up the quality with GF3s and on, and then some of the GF4, GF5 products now have like FN barrels and things like that.
Really?
So like they do incorporate some nice components, Cool. I'm giving this little bit of disclaimer because it's like, hey, I'm going to call it a budget AK. It's not dirt cheap, but it is a budget AK. But they do some nice components.
Yeah, do.
Get you every time.
Like a budget one would be like a Century Wasser, which those run like $700 or $800.
Yeah, and I'm not buying it. So anyway, taking a little tour here. So the 104, everyone, I use notes. You can't remember everything all at once. So the 104 is kind of a unique gun. So first of all, this one's chambered 7.62 by 39, your classic AKM, AK-47 round. These are Circle 10 mags. I will tell you, this is kind of skipping all around at this point, but Circle 10 mags are very tight lockup in the PSA gun, to the point of, I'd say being a little bit problematic, because you really do have to strip that mag out.
When it eats away.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna eat away your mag. So I have, P-mags have run great. They've all run good. Yeah. It's more entry and
ease
and
of
exit.
reload.
And because you really have to strip that. Like normally on an AK, you would hit that thumb paddle and you would just keep rocking your hand forward, and the mag's going to come out. On the Circle 10s, not going to be the case. You're going to have to
pull.
You're going to have to pull that thing out. So steel mags have been running fine. P mags running fine. Other mags, a little bit of difficulty there. So 12.5-inch barrel. So this is in a cool in-between zone, right? Where like you've got a full length, 16-inch barrel. And then the cool thing for those of you that don't know this, so 7.62 by 39 is a really good gun for short barrels. So, you know, I've got a, I remember if it's 10 or 10.5, but M92 where it's like, look, even with the short barrels like that, like 5.56 is the opposite, right? The shorter that barrel gets, the more problematic that gun and the ballistics and everything get, right? And you just really do start to deplete, you know, really I think shorter than 11.5 I think is where you really start like,
I think that's generally agreed upon too.
Yes, so there's nothing controversial about that, you know. These are cool because, hey, it is a round that does well out of short barrels. So you have a 12.5, which is a really nice zone there. So visually, the gun is an AK-104. So the AK-100 series was a series that was always designed to be exported. This is, guys, again, disclaimer here, the AK world is massively confusing. You could sit around and study AK terminology and stuff all day and still not know everything. I test a lot of different guns, right? We've got our hands on all kinds of different stuff, so we're kind of a little bit of jack of all trades, master in none.
And I will give you some credit on this. You are kind of an AK guy.
Like, I'm kind of an AK guy.
You know enough about it. I know not even a drop in the bucket.
Yes.
So
now you will still lose me very quick for a knowledgeable AK person. If you start going, you'll lose me very, very quick.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that I believe it was Russia back in the day said, hey, we're going to design a series of AKs that are destined to be exported. We're not designing them for us. They are meant to be shipped overseas. The AK-100 series, which is going to be the 103, 104, I think it goes up to the 109 or 108 right in there. Don't someone correct me in the comments. Designed for export. So this is the 104. So what's a little bit unique about the PSA one is externally, it is an AK-104, 12.5-inch barrel, everything. But the internals are an AKM, which is going to be the most common assault rifle in human history on planet Earth. So essentially they've got internals that are like super tried and true and like very predictable, but with some visual flair of an AK-104. Just a little bit, you know, interesting. And frankly, I'm totally cool with that because if you say, hey, look, let's implant internal shit that we know is like rock solid, but then do the exterior in a more you know, true fashion to an AK-104, I'm totally cool with that. But there is that. It has the side folding brace, so swap out, because this is unique, and if you haven't done this, this is going to take a sec. So there's two things, and it is a little bit kind of unique and clunky here. So
to pull up on it and then fold it.
Well, there's two things. There's actually two side folders. So one, there's going to be a little button here, and if you push the button, so here's what's going to happen, everyone. So there's two hinges. Okay. So this is if you put on an actual real side folding triangle stock, and it would actually clip into this little hook that's right here, which would be like an actual, if I, honestly, it's pretty good as a pistol setup, so I probably would not change this, but if you were gonna SBR it, throw on a triangle folder, and that will collapse all the way over and actually clip in here. Now, if you're trying to side fold it, now here's the other thing on this. So it's just a little bit of like fit and finish where it's not quite there. So to get this bad boy to lock in, I've got to basically close it, and then all I got to do is...
Okay.
And then there it
There
goes.
we go, okay.
Right, so it's just a little clunky.
That's annoying.
Now, it takes a second to figure this out when you first, well, it takes me, I should say, a second to figure this out when you first get the gun. If you actually are trying to side fold it, essentially the second hinge is back here, and so what you're gonna have to do is find something to brace on. You have to like pull up on the back of the brace. Okay, let's squat. This fucker right here.
Looks
So
like a monkey
everyone, it's easy. It's easy, everyone. Okay, like the son of a bitch right here is just gonna lift right up. I need a. So I'm gonna go down.
You all right? You
take a
want me
knee.
to brace you?
So it's a little stiff.
Let me see this
okay,
thing.
you've got to pull up on the brace. Let's see if the big man can do it.
Nope, not happening.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a bitch, right?
Doesn't.
It's not the best design in the world. All the side folding stuff, it does go. I did it earlier because I was impressed.
I got it.
There it is. There you go, right?
Like a motherfucking boss.
And then it's side folded. So it is a little bit of, and like, does my hand hurt right now? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. You know,
I got a cramp in my shoulder from that angle.
Yeah, slight hernia. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, it is what it is. And then you send it back out. So the design is a little bit clunky. Swap, or never mind. Actually, you keep that shit. So the design is a little bit odd.
Someone's gonna be like, your technique was wrong.
Yeah, and I've got another one that's the same essential system, and it comes up pretty easy.
It's this little piece right here. You push up on it, it folds. Yep.
So look, there is that, everyone. Just know it's not the best system right there. So we've got a 4150 nitrided barrel. Wow, right? Hammer forged trunnion, hammer forged bolt carrier group. Does have a side optic rail. So
I saw that it came with that.
Yeah, and that's a good feature.
Cool.
That's a good value upgrade. So if you wanted to run an optic on this, obviously you've got a slick gun, right? There's no pick rails or M-lock or anything like that. So if you're gonna run an optic on this, you would attach the side optic rail, and then the optic would, you know, be roughly here. So that's how you would run an optic on that. Easy day, good feature, good value, especially at that price point. The gas block and front sight is a combo gas. So basically, hey, the gas block ends with the front sight, so shaves a little bit of weight, things like that. It's just, you know, on a 12.5, it's what I would expect, but it's like, hey, it is a good design on that. So again, hey, we're giving complete fair shake here. You've got this crink style muzzle device. So this muzzle device is very kind of crink-ish. It's like a mini crink muzzle
Instead of that,
device.
like 45 standard cut.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which
I don't know
this looks cool.
Yeah, and I don't know the thread pitch. Didn't look it up. I was going to throw a dead air Wolverine on this for the review, and eventually I was like, I don't want to have to get a K&S adjustable gas piston. And again, AK world gets a little complicated, you know. So I left this thing essentially bone stock. The only thing that has been changed is the grip. So it's got
US palm.
Yeah, US palm grip. That's literally the only thing I've touched. I've run iron sights only. Like, I've let this thing very, very bone stock. They do come with a lifetime warranty. That's good.
Cool.
So good on PSA for that, because you might need it. You know,
I was just thinking in my head, the best warranty is one you don't have to use.
Yeah,
so.
you know, but hey, if something does go wrong, they do have a warranty. To my understanding, it's pretty good. I've heard good things about it. MSRP 1100, so there's that. That said, so what we're gonna do, guys, full disclaimer, we're not gonna break down we're not gonna show ourselves breaking down the gun, because YouTube has been very unkind to us about what constitutes gunsmithing and what the implications of that are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this down. We're gonna wipe down the bolt and a couple little components, and we're gonna show you any parts wear that's showing. Hey, there's wear that's happening here. Is it outside of the norm? No clue.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade. You gotta ask a gunsmith, because they'll probably be like, oh, that looks phenomenal, or like, uh-oh, you got a problem there. So ask smarter people than us to watch our video and tell them to like and subscribe to the channel while they're there. And go to Patreon. Yeah, just do a whole set over a pitch.
Some of them are like, fuck.
Five dicks.
I mean, from my perspective, like, again, I'm not an AK guy. It shot fine today. I've shot, you know, a couple of your AKs. Definitely a lot softer shooting than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it ran for the magazine's eye.
Yeah, you know, the place I've come to with it is, hey, in about 400 rounds, it's done everything that I've asked it to do. It's done it fine. It shoots about like what I would expect, which is it's been reliable. It's had no malfunctions. It shoots fine. Like, I mean, I really can't find anything to fault with it.
Yeah.
The wild card that everyone seems to want to know now in PSA reviews is like, well, how is it holding up? How are the internals doing? And we showed you the info. You've got to interpret what to do with the info now. But from my perspective, in terms of like how it's performed from a, you know, just kind of end user's perspective, it's been fine. I think I would lump it in the category of, look, it's not a high-end AK. Like, I've got AKs from Meridian and Rifle Dynamics and stuff, and like, look, those are pretty Gucci AKs. Those are the kind of AKs that you would want to go do like a class with, you would want is like a battle gun, stuff like that. I don't know that this would be in that category. I think for a hard use AK, you're probably going to want something that's just going to be an overall higher quality gun.
Okay.
But if you said, and this is where I think everyone has to be honest with themselves and go, hey, look, I'm not a hard use guy. Like, I go to the range with my friends every 6 months and I want to shoot 3 mags through it, and you go, I don't know that you need anything more than that then.
It's a fair argument.
So it's like, hey, it's like the same thing with the reliability argument where everyone wants it to be insane. It's like, do you need it to be that reliable? You know, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think for your average end user, this is going to do everything that you need it to do. It's going to do it at a good price point. I can't find anything to, the only thing I could find to fault is the side folding brace and everything. That's just crap. But it's just, yeah, that's not good. Beyond that, it's done everything I've asked it to do. So I'm kind of in this limbo state of like, hey, that's what I've got to offer here. I'm going to kind of bow out of having, I'm going to kind of bow out of having any real further advice or opinion on this. It's been a good experience. You do what you want to do from here.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I enjoyed shooting it, you know, as a guy who shoots primarily 5.56 stuff. It's fun to shoot a little 7.62.
I'll tell you a box that I think it does very well in, truck gun.
Yeah, I'd give you that. You know, a truck gun that, again, the whole reliability thing. Say truck gun, you're gonna shoot, oh shit scenario, 100 rounds. It's gonna do 100 rounds.
And AK is gonna be reliable, even at like, I mean, living in a cold climate.
Yeah.
ARs, if not properly maintained in the cold, don't do so hot. I've had ARs not run because they were just in cold vehicles for 3 months and they just kind of got locked up.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think it fits that box well. It also fits the box of, hey, if it's one, it's a pistol, so you don't have to worry about state lines.
Correct.
2, it's a kind of this mid-length, so it's got a little bit of do-everything feel to it. And I would argue that it's at a price point where if it's staying in your truck or car or whatever, and your shit got broken into and stolen, you're like, well, you know, I ate $1,000 on that versus a $3,000, you know, rifle dynamics gun or something like that, you know? So, yeah, I do see value in it. And again, hey, do what you want from here, guys. So that's what I got for you. PSA AK-104. And until next time, stay safe, stay off the streets, unless you should be on the streets, in which case stay on the streets. It's a detour, it's a detour,
Wise
it's
words.
a twist. It's
Wise
a twist
words.
for everyone. So everyone, all right, stay cool, see you soon.
Thanks, guys.